So, for those of you who are fans, have been following my content for a while, you know that I've been commenting recently on Styxhexenhammer666, also known as Tarl Warwick, or should I say Tarl Warwick, also known as Styxhexenhammer666. It's hard to say. His online persona seems to have become his real life persona. This is a dude that lives in Rutland, Vermont. He walks around dressed as a pirate 24/7, probably stinks of BO. He's constantly wearing a long leather trench coat. He's very disheveled looking. I doubt he showers very often. Appears to live in his mother's garage. Not even the basement. He can't even do that right. Can't even get the stereotype right. Lives with his parents, but in the garage. And this guy, he's been arrested multiple times. He used to be a very popular streamer, or at least semi-popular. He's got 500,000 followers on YouTube. But for some reason, he wasn't able to parlay that into wealth, even though people with far fewer followers have been able to do so. Of course, that's because this guy is ultimately extremely self-destructive. And no matter how many opportunities he's given, he's always going to knock the foundations out from underneath himself and collapse his own house of cards. Built on sand, to boot. So this guy wasn't able to parlay popularity and hundreds of thousands of followers into wealth. And now he's living with his parents. But that was not always the case. I'm not real familiar with this guy's lore. I know a lot of you are, and this is not new kit to you, but it is to me. So, give me some leeway as I explore this guy's lore and backstory. It's really a cautionary tale as to what fame can do to you if you have underlying mental health issues. So this guy, after becoming wildly popular for predicting Trump would get elected back in 2016, and after being on YouTube since its inception, this guy's been around a while, and possibly having been a tranny in the past, that's what I heard, and having been married to some Mexican broad in Texas at one point. He's got a very checkered past, very long, very interesting past. He eventually found fame and got married to some broad who considers herself a philosopher. There she is in the picture. Of course, she's not a philosopher. She's a very bad philosopher, I would say. I've read some of her work. It's total complete garbage. Some people have said she married Tarl just so she could get some exposure for her crappy YouTube channel, where she tries to LARP as a philosopher, just as Tarl tries to LARP as a well-informed political pundit and normie, and failed miserably. That's just why he eventually had to move back to Rutland, Vermont, but that's baked into the story here. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into this story about his marriage to this broad in the Netherlands, which I would like to explore further, because it came to an abrupt end, and there's still a lot of mystery surrounding why he left the Netherlands. So Tarl Warwick, also known as Styxhexenhammer, revealed his wife in a video. So there she is. So automatically, I see her, and I think, she looks very matronly and motherly, doesn't she? Now, maybe that's because this picture was taken after she gave birth to their kid. You know, the kid that he abandoned, a daughter that he just left behind. Maybe he had no choice. I don't know. She's not a bad-looking broad. That's automatically, I see that. So what's she doing with Tarl? It's a good question. So Tarl arguably is a minor celebrity, so I suppose the rules don't apply. When you have fame or wealth, or both. Tarl's never had wealth. He was too stupid to monetize his YouTube channel. And fame, moderate fame, back in the early 2020s, 2020 to 2022, 23. Yeah, I mean, now he's a pariah because of all the domestic abuse allegations and being a deadbeat dad. But I guess this was the height of his success. And, hey, he's got an attractive wife. He's got a newborn baby. He got out of America. Woohoo, right? Passport bro. You go, boy. Unfortunately, he married a Western broad. Bad idea. She's got options, pal. And, if you're difficult and a degen scumbag with a lot of mental health issues, she's going to kick you to the curb, which is probably what happened. But anyway, let's get into this story. I want to know more about the backstory here. So, by the way, my personal opinion is that she married him because of his moderate fame, low self-esteem on her part, and an added incentive to promote her crappy YouTube channel and horrible philosophical takes. So the American YouTuber author, is he really an author? I mean, isn't the only thing that he published were some books in the occult, and they're really just other people's cut and pasted work? And political commentator Styxhexenhammer666, also known as Tarl Warwick, that's his real name. I think he's part Japanese or something, so if you're wondering why he looks a little chinky, a little oriental, well, there you go. Is a married man. Not anymore. This is old news, but new to me. The news of his marriage broke in July 2019. By the way, does anybody out there know how he met this broad? I mean, this chick lives in the Netherlands. She's Dutch. How the hell does a guy that lives in Rutland, Vermont, which is probably as bad as it sounds, Rutland, how does he meet and marry a broad from the Netherlands? What, did she just slide into his DMs one day? Slide into his Twitter feed? That's probably what happened. They probably met online. Then his desperate ass flew to the Netherlands. And, long story short, they got married. When Tarl was in Amsterdam with his wife, Elizabeth Philosophy. What? That's not her real name. So she actually uses the word philosophy as her name. Probably her YouTube channel. Oh, my God. What a joke. What a joke. Wow. Talk about a failed attempt to overcompensate. If you've got to call yourself philosophy, yeah, I'm willing to bet your philosophy is garbage. Tarl shared the announcement with his fans on his YouTube channel with a video titled "Hello from Amsterdam with Elizabeth Philosophy, my wife." Yeah, my God. So I guess at this time, the dude was trying to escape whatever demons are chasing him, and he figured a good way was to move, change geographic location, and change the kind of broad he gets with. If any of you out there know Tarl and his dating history, you'll know that this guy, he has dubious taste in women. So he finally decided to get with as far as I know, she was decent and down to earth. She could be a wacko. She's got to have some mental issues to get with Tarl, right? But she's a little more normal, it seems, than the majority of broads he's dated and is dating now. I'm guessing this was his attempt to change as a person. Of course, changing location and changing the people that you surround yourself with won't change who you are. Wherever you go, Tarl, there you are. However, netizens now cannot access the video as it's not available on his channel. Of course not. He removed it. Or any other platforms anymore. Tarl Warwick and his wife announced their pregnancy. So 3 years after the announcement of their marriage, Tarl and Elizabeth had a special announcement for their fans. So just look at this picture. Is this the most mismatched couple you've ever seen? Now, first of all, she looks like his mother. And caretaker, which she probably was. And look at the way he's dressed. What do you think? What do you think? He's Jesus? Wearing a linen shirt from like 100 BC? What is this? Something out of the Roman Empire fashion collection? This dude. You can't even look at the camera. Loser. So according to a YouTube video posted by Styx in 2022, Tarl said they were expecting a little girl. This is just such a mismatch. They don't look like a couple at all. I can't even imagine them being together. There's something not right here. And it's not just their looks. It's not just that she's out of his league looks-wise. I mean, let's be honest. You take off the makeup, remove any filters that may or may not be there. She might be more on par his level, although I still kind of doubt it. I think she'd still be better looking than him. So I'm thinking there's something, there's some bats in the belfry there. But there's something more there. There's just something not right. I don't see a connection. I don't feel like they're together. It feels very inorganic to me. And like what's holding them together, keeping them together, what got them together to begin with has nothing to do with anything genuine or real. Emotions, feelings-wise, attraction-wise. Yeah. Am I the only one that gets that sense from this pic? Let me know in the comments. Anyhow, Additionally, the couple added that despite making the announcement, they were not going to disclose the name of their baby. I don't know why not. I don't see what difference that would make. But anyway, Tarl believed that it was their child's choice to be part of their channel when they're old enough to make their own decisions. Their channel? Yeah. This further cements in my mind that she got with him for his fame, and so that she could share some of it and get her crappy philosophy out there. Anybody out there? Can any of you think of a female philosopher? No. That's because there are no such things. Women suck at philosophy. Moreover, he believed that the contents of his channel were not family-friendly. Well, certainly not now, degen that he is. Which was one of the reasons he didn't want his child involved in his videos. By the way, his older videos, his videos from this time, are they really not family-friendly? Maybe the occult stuff. I don't know. But anyway, the video ended as Tarl and Elizabeth agreed on preparing for the pregnancy, as it would require a lot of their time and energy, and they wouldn't be active on the channel for some months. Nonetheless, they were happy about what was to come. Yeah. Not that happy. They don't look happy. Did they look happy to you? They don't look that happy. This looks very artificial. Her face is very wooden. It looks fake to me. It looks very performative, that picture. I don't know. Parenting tips from Tarl and his wife. Jesus, they're children. Is she even 30 in this pic? She's certainly younger than he is. He's 37 now. Yeah, these people giving parenting advice. Talk about the blind leading the blind. Despite the announcement of having a daughter. And by the way, for this woman to get with Tarl in the first place, she's got to have issues. Come on. He's hideous, skinny. There's nothing manly about him, and he's got copious amounts of mental issues, not to mention his substance abuse problems, which existed even then. And she must have been aware of some of this stuff, believe me. She Googled this dude. She did her due diligence, I'm sure. She must have known about some of this guy's issues, and yes, she got with him anyway, which means, yeah, she's got to have some issues as well. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Anyway, despite the announcement of having a daughter, the couple did not share information about their child's arrival. However, they did share their thoughts on first-time parenting. Oh, God, on her channel, Elizabeth's Philosophy. Jeez. Oh, yeah. I have checked this out in the past. I didn't remember the channel name. Good Lord. Elizabeth's Philosophy. According to Elizabeth, she believed everybody had their own style. I don't know what that means, which also depended on how they lived their lives, so you have to adjust accordingly. Yeah, I'm sure she came up with that cope after marrying Styx. Yeah. He's not abnormal. He just has his own style, which is abnormal. The couple added that to prepare for their first-time parenting, there was a huge variability in their personalities. Yeah. He said some children might be quiet, while others might be loud and might need constant attention. Yeah. Stating the obvious, this does not really put on display your supposed high IQ Styx. It's got this non-existence. Tarl added that the child's personality would start to come through after 6 months or so. How the hell do you know that? You're a first-time parent. Read it somewhere. Yeah. And you have to act appropriately to decide what works and doesn't work for them. No, there's things that are universally applicable, yo. So there she is. She looks like she's wearing less makeup there. Maybe no makeup, and she still looks pretty good. Yeah, she's way above him looks-wise. So she had ulterior motives, I'm telling you. Anyway, for example, the couple said there was almost a checklist to take care of the baby. They need a checklist? Are you going to forget to feed it? Oh, with Tarl, you never know. Boozer that he is. Also, Carl revealed... You mean Tarl? There's typos in this thing. Tarl revealed that he stimulated the child with toys when she cried and fed her organic veggie snacks when she was hungry. Dude, you can't feed a child a vegetarian diet, you retard. Oh, didn't that vegan Gaines dude try to feed his dog a vegan diet and it nearly died? Somebody called Animal Protective Services or something, and this dude was like accused of abusing his dog. You can't... When you're fully cooked and fully grown, you can be a vegan. But you cannot grow correctly, normally, as a baby on a vegan diet. That is child abuse right there. Were they feeding this child a vegetarian diet? What? Oh my God. Is Tarl a vegetarian? I guess technically he is. His main food source is booze, which is made from plants. So yeah. Anyway, additionally, the couple said their pet helped distract their daughter and keep her entertained. Their pet? What, a cat? Probably a black cat. Playing up to the warlock witch angle. Fruit Loop. Tarl and Elizabeth's first year of being parents. Oh, jeez. Was he there for the first year? A year after they had their baby, the couple reflected on their first year of parenting. Of course. They shared that their first year passed more quickly than they anticipated. Yeah, I'll bet. Tarl believed that time flew past when having fun. You know, this guy's whole life is centered around trying to have fun. So I don't doubt that. And also because the couple was hyper-focused on their daughter. They revealed that they had to be extra careful as their child was growing, and they had to keep the floor and the environment clean. And that requires you to do extra work, really? Keep your home clean? I mean, I guess technically, it is work to keep your house clean, but is that considered extra work? I would think that would be normal, routine stuff. And not classified as extra, but okay. Anyway, Tarl further added that it was a difficult time. Yeah, he's having to think about somebody other than himself. That's difficult for him. As he and Elizabeth had to stay awake constantly throughout the night, he felt like a zombie. Does she work? Does she have a job? Or was he the one bringing home the bacon? If he was the one bringing home the bacon, why was he getting up in the middle of the night? I think I've seen her channel. She ain't bringing in any money. She ain't bringing in any revenue, sponsors, or otherwise. Ain't nobody supporting this broad. Well, he's supporting her. So what the hell is he doing getting up? Oh, jeez, that's right. Tarl's a simp. We tend to forget that. He's abusive, but he's also a simp. As he and Elizabeth stayed up through the night, yeah, he felt like a zombie. I think that might be more the booze, Tarl, than the lack of sleep. But anyway, on the other hand, Elizabeth shared that having a baby had a huge impact on her emotionally and physically. Yeah, I would think. She said after giving birth to her daughter, she had to take a lot of bed rest to build herself physically. She sounds like a vegan. All these vegans are weak, poor constitutions. Everything impacts them more because their diet is highly unnatural for human beings. We're designed to eat meat and fat, not corn on the cob all freaking day. Anyway, it was not until a few months later that Elizabeth regained her vitality. Yeah, she's a vegan, probably. They're giving the kid vegan snacks? According to her, attaining physical fitness also helped her heal emotionally and mentally. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So that's the story of Tarl's marriage. So what happened after this? It's a mystery. So I've heard tons of stories. I've heard that he had to flee the country due to some drug dealer wanting to off him. Yeah, sounds like made-up bullcrap to me. I've heard that Elizabeth's family was after him, either physically or trying to get her to press charges, or she was pressing charges, and he then fled the country to avoid criminal prosecution by Dutch courts, Netherlands courts for domestic violence. What do I think happened? I heard a story that he put her in a headlock or something. And if you want my opinion, and this is my opinion, I'm speculating here. I'm spitballing it. I'm just really, this is just what I think probably happened. This guy has really, really poor impulse control, as do most addicts. And if you're an alcoholic, you are an addict. And just look at that picture. This guy has many, many, many demons. Like I said, I've seen pics of him dressed as a woman, potentially doing trans porn, allegedly. In the past, this guy's got major, major identity issues. Also, if you want my opinion, I think that he was abused as a child, likely by his parents or some close family member, which would explain his huge control issues. This guy is a control freak. Oftentimes, people who are major control freaks like him, who abuse others, well, the reason that you abuse others is to control them. So this guy has big-time control issues, potential abuse in his childhood, if not sexual in nature, certainly physical, psychological in nature. He himself is an abuser. And believe it or not, actually, people who were abused are less likely to be abusers in their adult years. People who were abused as children are less likely to abuse in their adulthood than people who were not. I know that might sound surprising to some. Turns out people that were abused oftentimes would not want to visit that kind of pain and suffering on anyone else, so they're less likely, not more so. That being said, Tarl, I think, was abused in his childhood. He's a control freak. What I think happened is he lost it, attacked his then wife. She probably threatened him with criminal prosecution if he didn't get out of her life and his child's life. And I don't think he really has any say. She lives in the Netherlands. He is not a citizen. Without his marriage to her, couldn't stay in the country, I would guess. And so she probably gave him a choice. Go back to America, leave, or I'm going to prosecute you for domestic violence, and your life's going to become hell. That's what I think happened. I don't believe this story about any drug dealer this. Not that he wouldn't be involved with drug dealers. I think this guy has other substance problems, besides booze. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on what happened.